So we've already seen that there are bar styles that control the bars that you see over here in the Gantt chart side. And we've seen that we can control what text we get and where that text appears. Now, as well as that, we can actually create our own bar styles. So if you go to right click and bar styles, these are the ones you get for this particular Gantt chart. And if I want to add some more, I can add some more only to this Gantt chart. If I want them on more than one Gantt chart, I have to repeat what I've done effectively. So how do I get another bar? I insert a row. I need to give the new bar style a name. Let's call it Guy1. The appearance of my new bar, I can control that. Let's change the color. Let's have a purple. We can control the pattern. So it might be that rather than the solidy one, we would like this sort of diagonal stripes. And then the shape can be quite thin or fat or the full height. Well, let's stay with the full height. So that's what my bar is going to look like. Then I control what triggers that bar being used. So you can see here, on the ones that exist already, task is if the bar is for a task that is a normal task, an active task, and not manually scheduled task. So in the drop list, I can see the potential filters for deciding what drives my task. So this bar is going to be for not finished tasks. So we look down the list, not finished. However, I also need to make sure that they are normal tasks as well. So I need to get back into there, put a comma, and then type normal. And it's going to show from the start of the task to the finish of the task. So that's the width of the bar that I get. So let's say OK and see if our not finished tasks then appear. And when I say OK, none of them change color, whereas in theory, what I'm trying to do is these ones should change color because they're not finished. That's because if I go back into the bar styles, if a bar has more than one bar style that could apply to it, for example, because our Guy ones, which are normal, not finished, are actually, they're not the normal, active, and not manually scheduled. So if two bars could apply, so two of the styles, so Guy one and the task one, how does it know which one to use? Well, it does it based on the last one that it sees in this hierarchical list. So it comes into the list and goes, oh yeah, I'm normal and not finished. I'm going to look like that. Then it comes down and goes, oh, actually, I'm normal, active, and not manually scheduled. I'm going to look like that. So it changes to the one furthest down the list. So if this one I feel is more important as a precedent over the blue bar, I need to move it down. And I do that by firstly cutting the row, clicking a little bit lower down, and then pasting the row. So now Guy 1 is lower than task. So if I say OK, we can see my non-finished tasks then change into the new bar style. So the hierarchy within the bar styles here is very important if you've got two color matches or two bar styles that actually could apply to a particular bar. So if I wanted to add another one for tasks that were finished on time, then I could insert a new row, call it finished on time, FOT, appearance. Well, we can control the color. Let's go for an orangey color of those, and we'll stick with our solid pattern and shape. Now we haven't controlled the beginnings or the ends at all, so why don't we do that for this particular bar? Let's have an arrow pointing that way at the right hand side and an arrow pointing that way at the left hand side. And we'll change the color of those arrows to a sort of lighter orange. So we've gone really all out for this particular style, but what we haven't done is told it what to use it for. Well, I want to use it for finished tasks, tasks that were finished on time. So there's the option, finished on time. But I also want them to be normal tasks. So we click in, comma, normal. Then when I say OK, we can see that again, it's a bit like the purpley ones. These two were finished on time, so they should change color, but they're not because of that precedence thing. So we need to go back in, we need to go to our FOT, cut it, put it a bit lower down and paste it. And then OK, we then see they then apply. So they've now gone that nice little orangey color that I quite like. So that's the bar styles. We can add our own styles. We decide on a name for the style, what it's going to look like, what it's used for, and then within this hierarchy list, you need to decide the importance on that particular style. So if it's quite an important style that you want it to override the default blue, for example, then it needs to be lower down the list because the Microsoft project will take the most recent bar that applies as it moves down that hierarchical list. So the further towards the bottom, the more important in Microsoft Project's mind. Any bar styles you create are only for the current Gantt chart. So if I say, OK, I've done all that nice coloring in. If I then go look at my tracking Gantt, that does not have the same new bar styles within it. I would need to create those new bar styles within here if I wanted the same ones. So it will be the same process. Insert a row, name, what do you want it to look like, when do you want it to show, and what's the criteria for the bar changing into that particular style.